Hello, everyone. I am super excited today. My name is Nikki. I'm part of Partner Co, and I have my amazing friend Amanda Kate with us today, who has an incredible story that uh, it's not incredible in the sense that it is uncommon. It's incredible because it is so common. And I think a lot of women, particularly, don't understand what is happening to their bodies. And Amanda Kate's going to tell you a bit about her story about burnout, how she's sort of come through that, and using our products, what consistency of our products can actually do. So, Amanda Kate, I'm going to hand over to you. And can you tell us a bit about your story, like where you started to where you've come now? Because in the process, you've lost 20 kilos now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how long have you maintained that for?
So I've maintained that now, just coming into 2 years since I started my transformation. So yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. So
Yeah.
tell us where it all started. I'll hand over to you.
Okay, thank you. So I've probably been someone who struggled with my weight like pretty much all my life. I was someone who was always a little bit thicker set. I always had really skinny friends. I was very active and sporty, so I was always able to kind of maintain it with a bit of hard work. In my adult life, I was the one who did every fad diet known. I damaged my body probably so much, but I feel like when you're younger, you just do what you've got to do. It wasn't until I had my children, after the first two kids, I was still able to, do some sort of crazy diet and lose the weight. After my third baby, I was in my 40s and I initially lost a couple of kilos and I was like, okay, this is good. And then all of a sudden, I started gaining weight, to the point where I went to the GP because I was like, what is going on here? I've never really been a big eater. I'm not someone who's really driven by food. I don't turn to food for comfort. And I was just gaining weight. And for the first time, I was getting actual belly fat, which was so uncommon for me. So the more weight I gained, the more depressed I felt. I started to feel it on my body as far as I didn't have the energy. I had three young kids who were super active, and I started to feel like I couldn't be bothered. Like I didn't want to go out and play. I just was prefer to sit around. And what I realized was that was also bad for the kids because then they wanted to sit around. And when I went to the GP, I was like, please, hopefully there's something wrong. There was nothing that they could show at that point. So I continued on in that state for quite a while. And then I happened to go back to the GP about a year later, still struggling, fluctuating slightly. And what she did was a blood pressure check, and my blood pressure was really high to the point where she went, oh, that can't be right. I'm going to do that again. That was after COVID. We'd been through, all that stress. And what I realized at that point when she said to me, this is lifestyle. So you can turn that around with exercise, which at that point I could not be bothered. I did not want to do it, nor could I really see how I could bring that into my life. And also diet. I was drinking wine. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't taking care of my body. And that was a turnaround for me because I thought I need to take care of my body. So from that day, I really thought, right, this is it. I can turn this around. In which then I started on our drops. We have the incredible drops, which just helped with my cravings. So it's going to help stop the sugar cravings, help with your sleep, just make you feel a little bit better. Also a bit of portion control. So if you're an overeater, it's really great for that. So what I realized at that point as well, though, is that I was in complete burnout phase. I hadn't really heard much about that in the past, but I realized I didn't do anything for myself. I didn't prioritize myself in our family at all. I would say I don't have time to exercise, but I have time for everybody else. And really realizing that was enough to make me go, I can find the time. It was a choice. It was easier for me to just stay there and go, I can't fit it in, or I can't afford to go to Pilates, or I can't afford to buy the products. But at the same time, when faced with an illness, is can my family afford for me not to be here? It was pretty like hard hitting, and we all hear stories. There's so many stories around. So I knew that it was time for me to make some changes.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, what things you said you started with the drops?
Yeah. So I started with the drops. I was feeling good. I lost a couple of kilos. So with this, I decided this is a change. No more fads. No more giving up pasta and doing any of those crazy things. So I knew with the drops, if I stuck with that consistently, I also drink the pink drink, which is a must for me. So I had those two, and we happened to have one of our conferences. It was the Melbourne conference a couple of years ago, and one of the incredible ladies from our company, who is like chief of our product, she did a training with us about these CM2 bands. And listening to her speak, so there's this lady, she's in her 50s, she looks fabulous. She's rocking these high heels. She's so fit. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I want to be her. So that was enough for me to just tune right in. I'm like, that's how I want to age. I want to be full of energy and life and look healthy, radiate like she was. And all I heard from her is this band is going to amplify the results of your drops. It's going to amplify the drops of your elite. And the way my personality goes, I had this band, but I didn't really know what it did. And I thought, I've heard that it helps with pain and things like that. And I'm like, I don't really have pain, but I'll wear it. And I just put it on here or there. From that moment in that room, when I heard her say that, I was like, I'm not taking that thing off. I decided it's recommended that you wear this for 8 hours a day for a cycle. Sorry, is it 8 or 12 hours? It might be a 12-hour cycle. So wear it all day. For me, I'm like, right, I take it off when I shower and then I put it back on. I just thought to myself, I don't want to take this off. This is going to work for me. So I guess this is where I really stress mindset, I believe, is really powerful. I heard those words and I'm like, that's it. I'm doing this. So what I noticed when I introduced wearing this consistently is I did start going for a short walk around the local park after I dropped the kids off from school, which in the past I hated. But what I noticed is I'd go for a walk, I'd listen to a podcast, or maybe I'd go with a friend. And afterwards, I started to get this feeling of, I feel really good. Like I was energized, like a really weird feeling of, I feel great. So what that made me want to do is go for a walk again and again the next day. And I started to notice I got fitter. I felt good. And I'm like, all I'm doing is walking, but I felt so good, which made me want to do more of it. So from that day on, I've literally just introduced walking. I don't run. I don't love the gym. I hate the commitment of paying for something and then, if I can't go, because that again stresses me out. I don't want to waste the money. So for me, it's just been finding things like that I can add in that's also not going to stress me out at the same time. And just keep consistent with it. And that's literally all I've done.
And you sleep with the band on?
I do. So I'm a really good sleeper, though. I'm not someone who is disturbed easily because it does just give a slight vibration when it goes into active mode. And I know some people say if you're a super light sleeper, then that might not be good for you. So if you're a good sleeper, it's not recommended that you have to do that. But for me, I'm just like, if I feel so good, I just don't want to take it off. And it also eliminates me forgetting taking it off. Like my routine is I take it off, have a shower, put it straight back on. I usually charge it while I'm in the shower, and then that's just how my routine with it. And so then I'm very rarely without, I could honestly say, I think in the 2 years, I've maybe skipped like 2 days max of wearing it. So I am super consistent, with what I do with it.
It's got to have made a difference because the amount of people I talk to, they have great results, but your results have been really, really
Yeah.
consistent. And I think the band is it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's just the health benefits. And again, and when I learned what this is doing, so it's just gently sending that vibration through to help create those red blood cells. So instead of our blood cells clumping together, therefore not being able to absorb the oxygen and all the nutrients, you're not going to feel as good. So this is letting those unclump from each other, it's a bad word, unstick. And therefore all of the goodness that you're putting into your body is then being absorbed, and then your body just functions better. So it's a super simple process, and the benefits are just endless from it. So I just think compared to something where you've got to, we're not saying you've got to go to the gym for an hour and run on a treadmill, just pop it on your arm. Pretty simple. And I will just say one objection I had in the beginning, I love fashion and I love how things look. And I did think, oh my gosh, this thing is pretty ugly. But like I could not care less. Like that is so far how I feel. I said to a lady the other day, even if I was going to a ball or a wedding, I would still wear it. I mean, look, you can take it off for that short time if you wanted to, but that's how much I love it. I'm happy to wear it anywhere.
You can actually
Because I
pop
feel
it
so
out
good.
though, can't you? And put it in your
Yes.
bra or something
Yeah,
like that.
you
Yeah.
can. It's so weird though. I feel like my mindset around it is I don't care what it looks like. Like it is making my life so much happier. I don't care. No, and that's how far I guess how much I love it.
So now thinking about 2 years ago, and people will have seen you before and afters, or if they haven't, just let us know. From where you were there to now, like it's a completely different body. How
Yeah.
do you feel mentally?
Oh, I feel so much better. Like even just, coming into summer, like we love the beach. I used to just want to sit and hide. I hated going to the beach. I hated going for a swim. The kids would be like, Mom, come in. I'm like, oh, you don't feel like that. So just things like that it's life changing. But even when I go shopping, I know I still actually sometimes pick up clothes that are two sizes too big. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So like even just things like that, it's changed. But just my energy, like I hear people around me sometimes like, oh, I feel so old. And I'm like, I don't like, and I might be like 5 years older than them. Like I feel really good in my body. And that's something that I think I reached the point where if I don't do something about this, getting old, I'm going to get old faster. And I want to turn that around the other way and go, I want to be 60, but feel like I'm 40 still. And I know with what we have, I have the power to do that. It just takes I think it's a decision of what you want and sticking with it consistently, still prioritizing. It's still really hard. I've just come off 7 weeks holidays with 3 kids, which let me tell you can be very stressful. And I have been on a bit of a roller coaster of trying to still prioritize myself. I did lose routine of I wasn't walking as much. I wasn't doing as many of the little positive steps that I recommend. So, it takes that, it's a little bit harder, but, I've still trying to incorporate as much as I can along the way to keep fueling myself. So what fuels you? And I think that's important. I'd lost sight of what fueled me, what makes me happy as a mum of 3 kids and a wife. I didn't even know who I was. All I worried about was everyone else's needs and everyone else's happiness. And there was nothing left for me. So that's what had to change as well. And I really stress that to everyone is it's really a combination. So chase some feel good things, whether it's sit and have a cup of tea after you drop the kids at school and just give yourself time to breathe. Finding some little things that light you up as well is really important because I think most of us lose sight of that.
And the last question I want to ask you is if you could explain a little bit about cortisol being a stress hormone. So, this was something that you really focused on,
Yeah.
and people might call it a bit of woo woo, but there are a couple of things that you do to
Mhm.
just make you happy,
Yeah.
to try and reduce your cortisol levels. What are
Yeah.
some of those things?
Yeah, so I start my day. I read the 5 a.m. Club book when I started my journey. Loved it. It was a bit of a light bulb moment. So I guess with my journey, I want to say to you guys, I didn't do it all at once. I implemented a little bit in, because again, if you try and do everything all at once, it can be overwhelming when you're in that burnout phase. So I realized I like to wake up and just start my day with a coffee. I'm not a morning wake up chatty Cathy person. However, I have a husband and a little girl who wake up and talk my head off. It doesn't start my day well. I start my day a bit spiked with my cortisol. So what I realized is it meant that I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to get that bit of Zen time because they both are early risers as well. So I am not an early morning person naturally. I love late nights. However, if I wanted to turn it around, I had to change that. And, we can change that at any point. When I hear people say, oh, I'm not an early morning person, that's a decision. So I decided to set my alarm. It was bloody hard, especially it was winter, hard work. So I would set everything up the night before. This is my personality type probably too. Being organized makes it easier for you to set yourself up for success. And I would do some reading of my book, positive mindset stuff. It could be a podcast, whatever it is. I would do my meditation, a short meditation. I was not into meditation. I couldn't do it, was the story I said. But I started with Insight Timer. It's free app. And you can start with a 2-minute one and you can, choose how you do. And you can literally start with whatever you want. It might be just a morning gratitude, repeating little affirmations. And I encourage you to think about what you're saying about yourself, not I hate my body. I would say to myself, I am healthy, I am fit. So I wasn't at that point, but I'm telling myself that every single day, over and over and over. And the power of the mind is incredible. So I do those two things and have my coffee. And then by the time everyone wakes up, I'm already feeling amazing. I'm ready. It's like, come at me, everyone. And then by the time I drop them at school, if I'm feeling a little bit stressed again, I can do another 2-minute meditation, or I might do my journal, my 5-minute journal, 5 minutes a day. It's writing your affirmations, writing out 3 things you're grateful for and what would make today great. So I'm setting my intentions. And those little things combined with this and your pink drink, your drops if you need at the start of your journey, it's such a good combination, and it will bring the end of the day as well. Then you're reflecting on your day. What good things happened today? So again, even if you've had a bit of a hard day, you've got to find some good things that happen that day, and that's going to turn your mood around again. So some simple little steps. It will take a decision and it takes consistency, but it is worth it.
Amazing. I'm sitting here like really close to the thing because I'm listening. I just love your story. I find it so inspiring. And I'm a really bad, like I don't have my watch on at the moment because I was just in the pool. So I've got it on the charger. But I sometimes get to lunchtime and I'm like, oh, bugger, I haven't put my watch. So you've got to, I think what Amanda Kate does is the best thing. Like you just put it on and that's the way you go. So
keep it going. And like make that decision today as well. Like get rid of what hasn't worked for you in the past, because if you're like me, like when I hear people say, I'll give it a go. No way, don't give it a go. It's going to work. It's a decision. So yes, other things may have not worked in the past, but this will work for you. So I think, taking that step in the right direction, going with a positive mindset, ask for help if you need it. That's probably the other thing I have to say is I have supportive people in my life. If something's not feeling right for me, I reach out to someone. Ask for help. That's probably the other big thing is please always ask, because we can always troubleshoot through things. Don't just give up on something. So get rid of the fad diets, get rid of the over-exercising. Women in our age group in particular should not be flogging themselves at the gym. It's actually going to do more damage. And when you spoke on cortisol, it's spiking your cortisol. Therefore, you can't lose weight when you're overdoing it. So this is quite simple, but just consistent.
Yeah, and I often get people asking, oh, how much are the drops, for example, and how long will I have to be on them because, I've got to afford them and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you sort of say to people when, like obviously the band is a once-off purchase, you don't need to buy it again. Obviously drops and elite, you're going to need to buy again. How, if you understand how sick you can get, you can tweak things in your life for affordability. 100%. Is that what you would sort of say?
And I like to break it down per day. I break down the elite, the drops per day. When I break it down per day, so elite costs less than $4.50 a day, say. Less than $4.50. I pay $6.80 for a coffee. So it's cheaper than a coffee. Absolutely. The drops work out sort of, I think it's under $10 a day. Again, like when you compare it to other things, I also compare to people the money I save by taking the drops, because what I used to do without those products is I would stop on the way to school pickup and pick up a can of Diet Coke and a Mars bar, which would probably cost me around $10 these days. I look at the food choices that I don't no longer eat. I don't go through McDonald's drive-through like I used to on the way to school pickup. I'm drinking my Elite, which cuts out that sort of craving. So there are so many ways to look at it. When you're in that mindset and feeling that way, it's easy to make it's literally an excuse, because I was the person who couldn't afford any of that. One day I realized, as I was stopping to buy my bottle of wine, I'm saying I can't afford one of these other things, but I never think to myself, I can't afford that wine. I never, ever think that. And it was at that point that I realized, what are you doing?
Hmm.
You don't use that as an excuse, but you're using the good stuff as an excuse. So it was a bit of a slap in the face for me to go, whoa, that's just I'm prioritizing. I can buy the wine, but I can't do the healthy stuff
Yeah.
because again, I guess she's trying to avoid however you can, and that was me justifying it. So um it's a bit of a game changer when you really make the decision. We all can find the way.
I could sit here and listen to you for hours, but thank you so much. I hope that you find some value from listening to this. Thanks to Amanda Kate. And if you want to follow more of her story, just reach out to whoever's shown you the video and we can send you through her updates. So thank you.
Have an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye.